The story begins with Sarah and her dad, Don, rushing Marie to the hospital because she's having trouble breathing. Sarah panics when Marie stops breathing and urges Don to drive faster. When they get to the hospital, Don tells Sarah to stay quiet. The paramedics quickly try to help Marie, but despite giving her oxygen, they can't save her and her heart stops. The story then flashes back 20 years. Sarah and her sister Amy are having dinner with their parents, Don and Irene. The mood shifts when Sarah's dad becomes controlling, refusing to let her go to a party. Later that night, Sarah sneaks out with her boyfriend Chris. When her parents find out, Don calls her a problem. At the party, Sarah has fun dancing with Chris, who sings a song he wrote for her. They confess their love for each other and kiss. When Sarah comes home the next morning, Don has been waiting up for her. They argue and Sarah tells him that as soon as she turns 18, she's leaving for good. Sarah talks to her mom and sister about her plan to travel and work across the country. Don overhears and goes to the basement, where he reveals a secret room hidden behind a bookshelf. 3 months later, Sarah graduates. She talks to her mom and finds out her dad has been spending more time in the basement, his man cave. When her mom leaves the house, Don tricks Sarah into the basement while she helps him with a box. He locks her in a secret room and says it's a bomb shelter. She screams for help, but the room is soundproof so no one can hear her. Her mom, worried, calls the police. On the 4th day, Don visits Sarah and coldly tells her she'll have to earn everything, even air. He then takes advantage of her. A cop comes by and tells her mom Sarah likely ran off with a neighbor, Steve, but her mom doesn't believe it. Scared and alone, Sarah remembers her time with Chris. As the days pass, Chris visits, but Don lies to him, saying Sarah ran away with Steve. On her 18th birthday, Don brings Sarah a cake and a red nightgown. She asks for a clock, but he tells her she must do something for him to get it. When she refuses, he beats her. A year later, Sarah is pregnant and gives birth alone in the basement to a girl named Marie. 4 years later, she's pregnant again. Don lives a secret double life, one with his wife Irene and daughter Amy, and another with Sarah and Marie in the basement. Irene wants to hire a private investigator to find Sarah, but Don says no. As a reward for good behavior, Don brings a TV to the basement for Sarah and Marie. Later, Sarah has a second baby, a boy named Michael. One night, she turns her scary life story into a bedtime tale with princesses and knights for her kids. Chris visits again asking about Sarah. Her sister Amy tells him the truth and explains that Don lied to him. They talk about how badly Don has treated Sarah, and Amy worries that Don might have killed her because of his bad temper. To pass the time, Sarah makes up fun stories to distract her kids from the world outside. Meanwhile, Amy and Irene confront Don about his lies, leading to a big argument. Irene angrily promises to do whatever it takes to find Sarah. During the fight, Don drops his keys on the armchair. Amy sneaks them and goes to the basement to search for clues. Don catches her, takes back his keys, and they argue. Amy is angry, scared, and blames him for Sarah's disappearance. Time passes and Sarah has another baby boy, Thomas. Sarah, being calm and kind, convinces Don to take the baby upstairs. She tells him there's no room in the basement and she can't take care of another baby. The baby is left on the porch where Irene finds it. Inside the basket, there's a note that seems to be from Sarah, saying the baby is hers and she wants Irene to raise him. She also asks for help, explaining that she and her boyfriend can't care for him. Don is the one who finds Sarah and attacks her again. Time passes and Sarah is kept in captivity. The children develop vivid imaginations, creating new parts of their mom's bedtime story. After 14 years, Sarah is still in the basement. Marie, now a young woman, tries on makeup one night. Don shows interest in her appearance, and Sarah begs him to leave her daughter alone to avoid what happened to her. In response, Don shuts off the power which controls the clean air. Struggling for breath, Marie talks about how she's never met anyone or had friends. It's then revealed that she doesn't know Don is both her grandfather and father. Meanwhile, Thomas, now grown, finds his grandmother crying in his mom's bedroom. Irene talks about how much she misses Sarah and how wonderful she is. Back in the basement, Sarah notices raindrops falling from the ceiling. She climbs up and finds the roof is leaking. Using a spoon, she digs her way out and signals for help. A neighbor sees the signal and tells Don about it. Instead of investigating, Don beats Sarah, who is pregnant again. The beating causes her to lose the baby. As she cries, Sarah gives birth to a stillborn baby, which Don buries in the yard. He then goes to the basement, complains and praises Thomas, who is now a strong athlete. When Marie and Michael ask when they can leave the basement, Don blames Sarah and her behavior, saying she's the reason they're stuck down there. Sarah, frustrated, yells and destroys all the furniture. Exhausted, she remembers the good time she had with Chris. Her kids cover her with a blanket and clean up, apologizing. Sarah, feeling emotional, decides it's time to tell them the truth about their life in captivity. They've only been told that Don lives upstairs with Aunt Irene to help care for Thomas. Tired of the lies, Sarah explains everything. She reveals that their life is based on their favorite bedtime story and that Don is not just their father but also hers. When Marie finds out, she has a severe asthma attack. The kids now feel something is wrong with them. Sarah reassures them, saying she loves them and that Don is to blame for everything. A year later, things get worse. Don insults Sarah and starts rationing their food because he's having trouble at work. Eventually, he loses his job. Facing the threat of losing their home, Don tries to kill the family by connecting the car exhaust to the basement vent. He's stopped when Thomas unknowingly saves them. Meanwhile, Don and his family enjoy a barbecue in the yard while Marie struggles to breathe. Don refuses to take her to the hospital, but Sarah begs him. She promises not to say anything and Don agrees, leaving Michelle behind. After 20 years of captivity, the movie begins with Marie being rushed to the hospital. Sarah is worried about her life and feels relieved when the doctors manage to save her. When a nurse asks about Marie's medical history, Sarah explains that Marie is homeschooled and only uses natural remedies. Sarah looks around the hospital, feeling lost and tired. Trying to escape, she accidentally spills water on some medical forms and walks away from Don. Just before Don catches up with her, Sarah tells a nurse that she needs help. A police officer talks to Don and he gets arrested. Sarah shares the news with Marie, saying they are finally safe. The police also free Michael, who is found gasping for air in the basement. Irene and Thomas are devastated to see Michael like this, while Don watches everything from the back of a police car. Later, on a sunny day, Marie, Thomas, and Michael are playing outside. Sarah, Irene, and Amy watch from the porch. Marie spots someone driving up the driveway. It's Chris, arriving on his motorcycle. He and Sarah take a walk together. Chris apologizes for not trying harder to find her and for believing her father's lies. He gives her a pink motorcycle helmet he bought for her when they were planning a trip together at 18. Now, happy and free, they go on their long-awaited motorcycle ride. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.